And it's funny now that I think about it, because Brighton Bar, I think, it might close down. They're still talking about it, but they said that it might not survive. But now I have a memoir from there, because I accidentally, while I was just completely wasted after a show there, I was out in the back, like on the back porch, and they have like a fence, but it's like rotted wood and stuff. And Rory was sitting down, and I was just like, I was giving him like a lap dance. I had like my shirt tucked inside out and stuff. And I went to go lean on the fence, and I just went boof. My hand went right through their fence. I ended up taking like a piece of that wood home with me, and they were like, just go. Like, don't let them see. But you know, like it's a great time until you get home, and then you're looking at yourself and you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I had that feeling.
There were days that, especially towards the end, I actually had a mental breakdown at the last September show, right before the October shows, right before we split. I remember the night before we had like a really bad practice, like shit just hit the fan, and I left, like pretty much cried the whole night. Like I was so upset with like just how everything was going. And then the next morning I woke up and I still just felt like absolute shit, and got in the shower, put on my ringleader coat and uniform, getting ready for the show before Aiden came to pick me up. And I remember just like in the shower and then getting out and putting the outfit on, I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Is any of this even real? Like, is this just a simulation?
Sounds like me at work, honestly.
Because you kind of like, you do kind of go on autopilot, but especially if you're in that bad way. And I mean, I was smoking, drinking, smoking pot, you know, all I was eating was fast food, because that was all that was open at freaking 2:00 in the morning when you'd leave the bar after a show or whatever. You know, not eating during the day. My breakfast was a freaking Black and Mild and a coffee.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, and then I'd go to a show, and then I would drink, and I'd wonder why I was getting so drunk so fast. And I was like, I don't have any freaking food in my stomach.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember like I broke down in tears, and I was like unconsolable for like an hour and a half. And Aiden's here at my house trying to pick up like all the props and stuff, and he keeps looking out in the backyard. My parents are like surrounding me, and he's like, "Is he okay?" And I just looked at him. I was like, no. But you know, it was everything crashing down at once. It was the band drama, you know, my own personal life drama, and just everything that I was doing to myself just put me in such a bad feedback loop. And I was like, I could just, you know, I could kill myself, and it just wouldn't matter. Like everything is just a null factor at that point, because I was torturing myself so much. I was like, death is the only possible better thing than what's going on right now. And I genuinely just did not know how to get outside of that. So that was, you know, that was at the point that I was like, you know, if I want this to not happen, if I don't want to feel like this, I really do have to make a change. And that's kind of where Songs of Serenity comes from. Like that song is all about how I felt between the point that I was at my worst, which was when I blacked out at the Saint after a show, because our buddies in not that it was his fault, he didn't know, but I didn't have anything to eat that day. We went to the show, we played the show. Our buddy's an Elephant Killer, my buddy Enrique, brought in his own bottle of Bacardi, and I was drinking Captain and Cokes. And then when I wasn't looking, he'd pour the Bacardi in my Captain and Coke.
Oh,
Great.
God.
So it was like easily 1/2 Bacardi, 1/4 Captain, and then like 1/4 Coke, and that was it.
Perfect.
And we were doing shots and stuff too. At the end of the night, I was blacked out. I was buying rounds of shots for people with money I didn't have, with people I didn't know, and I was completely incoherent. And finally, Aiden, with, you know, because he was the sensible one, came up behind me, looked at the bartender, was like stop. And so the bartender cut me off, and Aiden dragged me out of the bar, put me in the passenger seat of his car.
Good man.
Started driving me home, and then he rolled down the window. I don't even remember this happening, but apparently I threw up all over the side of his car. And it was like black, because all that was in my stomach was fucking Captain and Coke.
Yeah.
So I threw up. He got me back to my house, I like fell out of the car, and he was like unloading the props while I was trying to figure out how motion works and how to get myself out of the ground. And then the cops came. And so now all they see is these two guys in face paint and fake blood, and one of them is laying on the ground against the freaking telephone pole at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, what in the fuck is this? Like, one of them actually like had their hand on their holster, like, I don't trust this for shit. And the officer came over, shined their light. That was the moment that I actually started coming to, and I looked and I was like, that's very bright. It's like, can you not? And she was like, where do you live? I was like, right there. And they brought me in, and I don't know if you guys saw, but on my Spotify, the album art for Songs of Serenity as the single is a picture of me laying like face down, and it's a picture that Aiden had taken after he got me in the house. I ran out to the backyard, and I think in my head all I could think of was like, if I jump in the pool right now, that'll be it. I'll go out smoothly. I'm too drunk to feel it. I'll just drown in the bottom, and that'll be it. And so the picture was me, I guess, trying to make that effort to go to the pool, and then just face planted.
Face planted right on the ground.
Right on the ground, yeah. I mean, Aiden was there, so he would have never let anything bad happen to me, thank God. You know, Aiden's a freaking godsend. But, you know, that was my lowest point, and that picture is like a perfect representation of that, and that's why I wanted to use that for the single cover. And I surrounded it by, like, on the borders, it's surrounded by stars and stuff, because that's what it felt like. I felt like I was just in orbit, you know, like in space. My brain was just gone.
A lot of people, when they go to concerts, they see the musician on stage, rocking his brains out, right? They see all this fanatics and all this crazy spectacle, but what they don't see is what happens behind the scenes, behind closed doors. What happens? What happens at the after party? Who makes it? Who doesn't make it? Who throws up? Who doesn't?
The after party is where the fun still commences. It's when the party is completely done, when everyone's gone, and you're there by yourself, and you realize that all of those people, like, I mean, obviously you do have some people that really do care, but like the people that, again, they knew me as KK Reaper, they didn't know me as myself.
Yeah.
And so when everyone left, and I was there left to my own, vices, I was just like, wow, this, like, this suddenly, like, that high comes down, and you're like, this is pretty shit. Like, I feel shitty. Like,
it goes from a really high to a super low.
Right.